I'm Barry Funkhauser, and this is the Barry Funkhauser Show. Well, here's what's going on. The catalytic converter has been stolen from the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile in Las Vegas. The architect of the Capitol has been accused of misconduct, and medieval times employees are going on striketh. As always, I'm here with my co-host, the General Know-It-All Current Events guy, Joe.
I'll strike it.
I should have just said,
I'm sorry, it's just funny.
He striketh thou.
He striketh! How dareth you come into my place of business? Striketh! I striketh thee!
Oh,
That's gonna be a fun story.
Hey, I'm excited about tonight's... We're going out tonight. We're going to see local natives.
Yeah! That's gonna be fun. Oh, and then we're going to sushi too, so I'm really excited about both.
That is true. I'm more excited about the sushi myself.
Are you? No,
I
local
do.
natives are really good, man. I really enjoyed them. I heard them first on 88.5. Look at that. Music Discovery.
Yeah. You know, and I like music and stuff, but having something at the end of the night to top it off is just the best thing ever. You know,
What, the show isn't the topper for you? You have to have the food beyond the
sushi
show?
at the end is always a good thing, my friend. No matter what, you can meet the president, and if there's sushi at the end, man.
Yeah, it's like I used to. The older I have gotten, the less I eat late at night. I've found that it really disturbs the tummy, so I try not to eat that
In
late.
our old
But
age.
oh man! But when I was in my 20s going to shows, oh man, we would go to shows and then we would always go out to eat afterwards, and it was always like tacos or, like. Oh man, we would go to El Compadre
Hey,
at like
dude,
midnight and get
speaking of
flaming
that-
Cadillac margaritas. So good.
I just went to Grand Central Market.
Oh, that's right. Did you get egg slut?
I did not, bro. I went
Oh.
to a place called For the Win.
Yeah. And
it's
so good.
You know what that is? It's like a smash
Yeah.
burger.
Yep.
Never had one. The sweetie had never had a smash burger before, and she's been craving a char-broiled burger, She's like, I like hamburgers, but I want, that specific backyard kind of crunch that you get with a good char-broiled burger. And lo and behold, they had one there, and now we're investigating. They have like 4 locations. There's one in Glendale. We're going to go, man. It's good. You're getting me hungry again.
That's what I do. I like food.
Food is 9/10 of life. You haven't asked me what I've been growing lately. I just planted a bunch of mustard.
Mustard that we can use on hot dogs? Like Oscar Mayer Wieners, maybe?
No, mustard spinach. So the plant
That's a lot different.
it starts as like spinach, and then when it flowers, you take the flowers and grind them with your grinder, and make that fancy deli stone ground mustard stuff.
Oh, I like that a lot. Yeah, I like mustard plants are really pretty and they're really, really large.
Yeah, I think they're native here in California too, which is
Yes, they are.
And I was gonna have poppies for Valentine's Day, but I just learned that gophers eat roots of poppies. So I went out there the other day, and the sucker had no roots. I had another.
Oh, do they eat poppy roots because it gets them high? Because poppies
have
and
to ask
and opioids and stuff.
You have to ask the gopher. I don't know.
I'll have to ask the gopher. I'm sure that they will be very, very vociferous in their love of poppy.
Yeah, what you said. That. All right, let's get into the news today. Catalytic converter theft in the Las Vegas Valley put the bite on the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile early last week. Listen.
Catalytic converter theft in the valley put the bite on one of America's most famous hot dogs overnight.
Those driving the 27-foot-long Oscar Mayer Wienermobile say it was stolen in a hotel parking lot not too far from Flamingo and Paradise. Ryan Matthey gets into the messy details.
The Oscar Mayer Wienermobile was just looking to catch up with Las Vegas this weekend, but what was once cooking underneath it was stolen, joining an already stuffed problem in the valley. It was here overnight that those driving the 27-foot-long meal on wheels woke up to some stalled buns.
The hot dog was right here.
Yeah, exactly right here.
Bensky off Hacienda and Decatur towed it here.
Imagine like a huge, gigantic hot dog in the middle of your bay.
BART's administrator, Joseph Rodriguez, says not only was the catalytic converter stolen, but so was everything leading up to it.
There's like gaskets there that you need to reseal the converter, and then there's sensors all along that area to regulate the heat and temperature of the system. Those are all gone as well. They tear that apart to get to what they want.
The car part containing precious metals used to filter out harmful exhaust emissions into safe gases, sawed off and illegally sold for thousands.
They literally just saw it off, take it,
yep.
run.
Yep, absolutely.
A growing problem nationwide. In Las Vegas, Metro Police reporting over 2,600 thefts in 2022. State Farm reporting over 43,000 thefts nationally through July 2021 to June 2022. Though these buns now have a temporary converter that can get it to pre-Super Bowl appearances, the taste lasts only so long.
They did like a little minor repair to basically have the vehicle running. It's not the correct part. It's just something temporarily. It's costing the person money, and then the company, and then just time.
Now, he added that getting new catalytic converters is sometimes on a 4-month back order. Metro Police say it has not yet received a theft report, but the hotel where it was stolen from says its corporate division is actively investigating.
Boy, what kind of drugs are you on if you steal the Wienermobile?
Catalytic converter from the Wienermobile. Yeah,
They
you're
stole
probably
the whole vehicle, and then
they stole the whole vehicle and then just took the catalytic converter. Yeah, you're pretty desperate at that point. Because that's not cool. Don't be taking away my hot dog. Have you ever actually seen the Wienermobile in real life? Because I've only seen it once, and it was in passing. But man, was I stupid excited for it. My friend Kevin and I went on a trip to Chicago years ago because I really wanted to go to a Cubs game. We went in May, and it was lovely. It was so nice outside. And I just remember we were driving down, what is that street called in Chicago on the Lakeshore Drive. Yes, there's a whole song about it, Lakeshore Drive. So we were on Lakeshore Drive, and then, off in the distance, what do I see coming toward us is the Wienermobile. Like, I freaked out in my friend's car. He's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, dude, it's the Wienermobile. It's like, man, we see that thing all the time in Chicago. I'm like, I have never seen it before. I was so stupid excited. And I've only seen it that one time in passing. That's it.
I saw it in Vegas once.
Yeah.
Like, I got to get up close and go in.
You went inside the Wienermobile?
Yeah, talk about a time warp, man. 1970.
What's it like in there?
Like an old school bus. There's old seating that you can pack a lot of people in that thing.
Really?
Yeah, but
interesting.
You can't get inside the Wiener. It's not.
Oh, really? That's disappointing. I was hoping it was going to be like, you know how like some airliners have like the secret stowaway compartment for the stewards and stewardesses or airline attendants or whatever you want to call them. They go up there and they have like their bunk beds and stuff. I was hoping that like the Wienermobile had like bunk beds up there, or like little beds for like the Wiener people to sleep in overnight or something. That's
what I remember is something to do with aerodynamics. Like if you put too much weight on the top,
it'll crack. And
there she wrote.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, anyway, I'm still excited for the Wienermobile. I'm still glad that it's rolling around the country.
Me too.
I'm sorry that it got the catalytic converter.
It's always fun when you see all these things, these pomp and circumstance. We like those things here on the program. And, like when you see the blimp going in the sky, I just saw that around my
nostalgia for me.
Weird, man. But, and the old planes that go through the sky. All that stuff.
We get those a lot in Los Angeles because over at the Van Nuys Airport, they actually have like a bunch of World War II era fighter planes. And every now and then, you'll look up in the sky and you'll see a quartet of P-52 Mustangs rolling through the sky, and they are loud, and they are, compared to new jets and planes, they're slow.
Yeah.
Top speed 350 miles an hour. Like you're flying on your commercial jet at 550 miles an hour. Jets these days go over 1,000 miles an hour. So it's like they're pretty slow comparatively. They got great turning radius. But yeah, it's fun to like look up in the sky and see that nostalgia every now and then, or you see the Wienermobile around, or were you in LA? Oh gosh, this was like 20, maybe even 25 years ago. When someone had converted their van into the Mystery Machine from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, and you know what? There's one a block.
I love that one too.
There's one a block from my house. There's one of those Scooby-Doo machines, but man, it's called the Magical Ministry Machine.
Oh no! Don't be taking my Scooby-Doo and making it
you gotta
all.
Look up close to catch
super Christian.
What about a bait and switch there, huh? That's not cool. Come on.
I know, but they made those.
It made me go.
They made those for the Scooby-Doo movies with Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr. They were a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. What else was there that we see every now and then in Los Angeles, especially because we get a lot of props here. We got a lot of Hollywood's here, and so we get a lot of stuff. Have you ever seen anyone driving a DeLorean from Back to the Future?
Oh yeah, one of my neighbors is one of a DeLorean Restorian.
Oh, seriously, that's super cool.
Yeah, has a bunch of broken down ones in his backyard.
Man, I would love to come over and see that, because it was only like a few hundred made, if that.
Yeah.
And I know that there were only like 3 left that were actually in working condition. So yeah, I would love to see that. The other thing that I've seen is the old school Batmobile, the one from the Adam West show.
Batmobile. You get that a lot.
That one's a good one. Every now and then you'll see the old 1960s police cars from
the rarest one of them all, Joe, in Southern California. The rarest vehicle you see is the Jay Leno. Every so often, you see the Jay Leno putting around, and the Jay Leno comes in all types of cars, But the one that I saw the Jay Leno in looked kind of like a golden tractor with a poot poot, like chugga chugga, like something else was happening in that car. Gave me a little nod, and I said, "Well, I'm a Southern California. I live in Los Angeles. I just saw the Jay Leno."
You're official when you see Jay Leno driving around
at a stoplight. If you catch a Jay Leno, that's a badge of localism that you now have.
Yeah, I love all that nostalgia. So I'm just hoping that maybe we can get the Wienermobile in Los Angeles for an event at some point.
They'll be here. They're always
I'm going to start thinking about that.
Well, I guess not anymore. Now that everybody's moving out of California.
Oh, that's not true. Don't believe the hype, people.
It was
Don't
a big
believe the hype.
hot dog company that just said adios a little while ago, a couple weeks.
Oh, Farmer John.
Yeah, were you talking about that? I think so.
I was, because I love Farmer John. Farmer John has always been local in Southern California. Then they got bought, and it's no longer the Farmer John that I remember, so I stopped buying their product.
Yeah, not good.
Not good. When they, especially, I think that they did a disservice when they dropped their Dodgers endorsement and sponsorship. That brought them so many billions of dollars over the year, that partnership. Every Dodger fan I knew swore by the Farmer John Dodger dog.
Yeah.
And they had so much goodwill just in Los Angeles and Southern California, and this new company that bought it just did not understand. And they just screwed themselves. Spent all this money and then just destroyed all of the goodwill that had been formulated over 50 years. I don't understand when people do that.
You make more money sometimes when you burn things down than you do keeping it going.
I guess. Well, I miss the old Farmer John because I loved the Farmer John.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Well, today's show is brought to you by
Wolf Tracks. Unleash the love. Do a good deed for dogs. Walking with the free Wolf Tracks app helps you earn for your favorite animal charity. Download the Wolf Tracks app, start walking your best friend, and unleash the love for all dogs.
All right, more news on the Barry Funkhauser program. Now, Joe, do you know who the architect of the Capitol is?
Yes.
Okay, I find this job fascinating, but
no one knows who this guy is.
Exactly. But there's been some controversy going on. J. Brett Blanton is the key official at the U.S. Capitol. He's facing questions for the first time from lawmakers about a damning Inspector General's report that accused him of misusing government property, wasting taxpayer dollars, and impersonating law enforcement. Listen.
Yeah, the calls for Blanton to resign took on new weight when the top Republican on Capitol Hill, Speaker Kevin McCarthy, said it was time for Blanton to go. A short while later, the White House informed Scripps News that indeed the president had terminated Blanton. J. Brett Blanton hung on for months as architect of the Capitol.
Mr. Blanton, how do you respond to the allegations in the Inspector General report?
He never publicly responded to the accusations of unethical behavior detailed in an explosive Inspector General's report released this past fall. It said Blanton and his family used government vehicles intended for home-to-work use only as personal cars, even taking them on vacation and paying for gas with tax dollars. The report included an allegation Blanton posed as a law enforcement officer when he pursued a driver after a hit-and-run incident and then misled investigators about it.
Do you solemnly swear?
At a hearing last week, we also learned Blanton never showed up at the Capitol on January 6th, even though he was in charge of the physical security of the building and sat on the U.S. Capitol Police Board. Lawmakers' frustration with him boiled over.
I am outraged that you would be in a comfortable place, sir, while the rest of us were thinking about dying that day and how we were going to come out alive that day. Trying to calm myself down because you bring a lot of anxiety to me. Your inability to do your job.
But Congress seemed stuck with Blanton, who had been appointed by President Trump to a 10-year term. Then, when the Speaker of the House weighed in with this tweet, the final decision shifted to the White House, which had already told us it was taking the concerns raised about the architect of the Capitol very seriously. And Blanton did not respond to us today. Last week, though, he said that he has not done anything unethical, Chance.
So there you go. I mean, first off, the architect of the Capitol, I thought they just kind of oversaw the Capitol building and the history of it and took care of the docent I thought it was a low-profile gig, but apparently there's more involved. And anybody in a government job can't go to Walmart and use their government card.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty low-profile gig. Like, how many times have we heard even mentioned the architect of the Capitol in, 50 years? No. No one knows who this person is.
I'll tell you, the only reason I discovered it was I was wondering one day after January 6th, I'm like, who's going to fix the windows and stuff? And then I went on to Google and I was like, oh, wow. And they have a really beautiful YouTube channel that explains history and what, because all those buildings are 200 and something years old, so they have to be taken care of a certain way, and the architect in me is like, ooh, this is fun. But this idiot is running around going on vacation and not being there. Come on.
Yeah. He it's a very telling sign when there's bipartisanship in Washington these days. How bad was this guy at his job that both Republicans and Democrats were like, nope, he's got to go. Especially when it's McCarthy coming out saying he's got to go. And this is a man appointed by Trump. So, the Donald's not going to be happy about this. He's probably spouting off on Untruth Social or whatever.
This dude probably thought he was untouchable too. He's like, I got a 10-year job. I'm gonna go on vacation. We gonna live it up. Go to the pavilions instead of the Ralphs this time, and we'll buy the premium gas. Why not? Cha-ching. And imagine his face when they were like, "Hey, this is fireable."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess they were taking like multiple road trips to South Carolina in a government car using the gas card from the government to like pay for the trips both ways, putting hotel stays on the government card. And then he was writing it all off as like government expenses. Like, oh, I have to go to South Carolina to go study architecture. So I am, more prepared to do my job here in the Capitol complex. Oh, it was all just BS. So he could just like skate by, not actually do any work, and then just like pull his salary. So yeah, wow. Like I said, it's a lot.
And then here comes Dark Brandon to
stop it. Stop with the Dark Brandon stuff. It's so dumb.
Thunder and lightning and do something. He did something.
Dark Brandon. That Dark Brandon stuff is such BS.
Kind of funny if you.
No, it's not funny at all. It's so dumb. They're like all trying to like.
I'm a meme guy. I like the memes.
I hate the memes. I think the memes are so dumb. It's like such a. It's just unintelligent humor. Memes. That's all it is.
Like, humor is unintelligent.
It's what?
It's fun to be unintelligent.
In some things. In like some things, like sure. Like I like some unintelligent humor too. Like the stupidest thing will make me laugh. I love puns. Puns are dumb. I get it, but I don't know, they're funny and silly to me. But no, like I am not a memer, and I think the Dark Brandon stuff is just like it's trolling. That's all that is. So anyway, no, good for the government coming together and firing this guy who is abusing his position.
Yeah,
and make Barry the U.S. the capital of the architect. You do a great job, Barry.
I would take a good hard look at it and make some decisions, whether or not lunch is taken and who's paying for it. I will make those decisions. Okay,
you're gonna get fired quicker than this guy did.
It's on me. Everything's on me, man. It's fine. I make enough.
Yeah.
All right. More news on the Barry Funkhauser Show. A real-life battle hit the parking lot outside of Medieval Times in Buena Park, where employees went on strike.
It is a real-life battle at Medieval Times. Recently, unionized workers there went on strike today. They're demanding better pay and working conditions at their Buena Park castle. The American Guild of Variety Arts now represents the employees, and they claim the company has tried to silence their voices ever since they voted to unionize. Today's 2:15 show was the last of the day, and picket lines were then up to stop guests as they arrived.
It was fantastic, but it was a little hard going in with them picketing because I agree with what they're saying. I think that if they're not being treated right, they should be. They make the show, not Medieval Times.
We are striking for unfair labor practices. They've been censoring us. They've been censoring our supporters on social media. They took down our TikTok that had like 8,000 followers. They're just trying to silence us because they know that they're not treating us fairly.
Well, we did reach out to Medieval Times for a response, but have not.
No comment. The first person they interviewed there kind of threw me for a loop, because I learned a lot about what's going on there. Number one, people are still going to Medieval Times even when everybody's picketing out front. And going in and feeling bad about it, but still.
No, I thought you were just going to stop at like people are still going to Medieval Times.
Well, there's that. But then, if they're still doing shows and they're picketing, there's Medieval Times scab workers in there trying to do a show. Like, how's that going?
Oh, that's probably terrible.
What kind of gig you get for that? Is that like a castable role? Like, is that
like a SAG role?
Because if they're all unionizing and they're all together, then everybody who's running the show now is somebody else, right? So what are these cowboys coming in?
That's cowboys coming in.
Because it's all
Medieval Times now with cowboys.
Well, they got to take off their chaps and put on the armor. I don't know, man. Makes me kind of want to check it out and support them.
I'll support the workers, sure, but medieval times was never like really my gig.
Can't believe it's still going on.
That's why I'm saying, like, people still go to medieval times. Why? Well,
it is only one place, so they probably make enough money.
Medieval times isn't just one location.
Oh, there's more?
Yeah, I think the Buena Park employees have unionized, but there are multiple medieval times across the nation.
Oh, okay. Then they shipped in some knights from like Minnesota to show up, and
I mean,
that's
maybe.
it.
Wouldn't that
I thought
be?
It was only like one shop.
No, if you worked at a medieval times in Minnesota and they were like, "Hey, we got to send you to California for a few months in the middle of winter," wouldn't you say, "Yeah"?
Well,
because I would. You go from -20 to 70 degrees.
Yeah.
So what do you feel? How do you feel about unionization, Barry?
I'm for it. I like it. I'm a fan. I mean, it depends on. I don't know, man. I mean, here I go wishy-washy and wiggling around, but it depends on the field. I think the lowest paid workers should be unionized. You know, voices of the many help progress happen. But
my thing is, we're getting to a situation, and actually, I read about this in Tahoe. Tahoe's got a problem, and it's similar. It's not like my medieval times similar. There is some unionization issues, but one of the main things that happened is we price out all of the people who do our service industry work. You know, so take let's just take Tahoe for instance. The median home price in Tahoe in 2010 was $250,000. The median home price now is $980,000. 12 years later, $250 to $1 million. It's like
That's
almost a 400% increase.
That's a lot.
Okay, so now what is Tahoe known for? It's a resort town. People go up there to ski. People go up there to hike. You know, they're enjoying the lake. They're doing stuff like that. And people that want to go and visit, you know, they want to go to the bars. They want to go to the restaurants. They want to have people that are there to serve them. Well, now all of these people have been priced out. They've been moving. There's nowhere that someone in the service industry who works at the bar or the restaurant or, you know, is working at the ski lodge or doing stuff like that. They can't afford to live there anymore. You know, so they're getting priced out and they're moving. So now people in these towns are having a really hard time finding workers, and they have to like cut their hours. They can't be open every day. You know, that's happening in multiple areas in urban and tourist destinations across the U.S. You know, like in Los Angeles ourselves, we're getting priced out. Like these Buena Park actors at medieval times. They unionize because they want better pay. They want better work-life balance. And I'm sure that they want to be able to make enough money so they don't have to like get an apartment an hour and a half away in like Riverside County or San Bernardino County just to drive in to work at Buena Park because they can't afford to live there. Rents are like, you know, $2,500, $3,000 for like a 2-bedroom in some of these places. And the people at medieval times, they're like $15 an hour, maybe 20, maybe some of like the high-end actors like the Queen or the Red Knight or the Black Knight, maybe they make decent money, but I still don't feel like they make enough to actually live in the town where they work. And so we're getting that. We're getting that a lot in all the cities. New York is having a huge problem with that right now. There's nowhere for the people that actually work in the places we want to go to actually live. So And people are starting to get smart about it. They're like, hey, I work at a bar, or I work at a restaurant. And right now I'm commuting 90 minutes each way to make minimum wage plus tips. And I can barely afford where I'm living, even outside of the city. So you know what those people are doing? They're moving. They're just picking up and like moving to Arizona or moving to Florida, and they can find a restaurant job there. And they, people there are just, normal everyday working at the Applebee's or whatever. They're making way more money. They get to live 5 minutes away from their place of work because, rent's affordable and stuff. So we're going to have a problem if we don't figure out how to get some like better housing, and we got to start supporting unions more, because we got to make sure that we have places for these people to live, because not everyone can be a white collar worker. And we like to have stuff here. We like to be able to go to the Carl's Jr. or the In-N-Out and get a burger, or, go to the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile and get a hot dog. But we can't do that if we keep pricing everybody out.
Yes. So for now, do not patronize medieval times. There's no need. If you want to see a horse, go to Burbank.
Right. Yeah. Go to Burbank. There's lots of horses there. Oh, and just to let you know, there are medieval times in Atlanta, Chicago, Baltimore, Buena Park, Dallas, Lyndhurst, New Jersey. I have no idea where that is. Myrtle Beach, Orlando, and Scottsdale, Arizona. So why don't these people just move to Scottsdale? Take all your Buena Park people, move as a union to Scottsdale. I think you'll be able to afford it, and you could still work at medieval times. Look at that.
There's a solution. I like solutions. All right, Joe. Well, tomorrow on the program, we have a special guest, as we do at the end of the week. And guess who that is, Joe?
Who's that?
It's our friend, marketing and promotions director for our favorite radio station, the SoCal Sound and Mornings there. It's Jet on the program tomorrow.
Woohoo! Yeah. I'm going to talk to her about Nick. I'm going to say, hey, why doesn't Nick play more X? And why doesn't Nick play more XYZ? And why doesn't Nick play more charlatans? That's really what I want to ask. Why don't they play more charlatans? I like the charlatans, and no one plays the charlatans. You can ask all those questions.
Yay! I'm gonna ask her other things, like how she gets cool bands to like her, and how she does her stuff. And
I would really like to understand how, I know she's been around for a little bit. How has marketing changed in the radio industry in the last 10 years?
Yeah, isn't that your thing? Your world's marketing? That'll be a fun.
Oh, sure. We're going to Jet and I are going to geek out on some marketing stuff tomorrow. So if we get really down the TikTok rabbit hole, please pull us back.
Not a problem. I don't think it'll happen. I look forward to that. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. This is the Barry Funkhauser Show.